Hey guys, Jeff here. Welcome back to another episode. Today, we're doing New England style pot roast. However, we're going to cook it out on the Traeger instead of in one of those crock pots or even on the stovetop like my mother used to do when we were kids. So what we're going to do is we got this guy here. We have a 3.5 pound chuck roast. We're not going to do any trim into this at all. We want this fat in here. We want this to render down. It'll be absolutely delicious. So what we're going to do though is we're going to start it out with a little bit of Kinder's The Blend. It's a salt, pepper, and garlic blend. And we're just going to get it all over the top of it. Now my mother would have rolled this thing in flour and then she would have browned it on the stove top. And then she would have put all the other ingredients around it. She used to use onion soup mix. We're going to actually use, when we get to that point, we're going to cook this for 3 or 4 hours. On the Traeger, we're using pecan wood today, because of course I love the pecan wood. We're going to set the Traeger at 180 degrees. Oh, that's just perfect right there. So we're going to set the Traeger at 180 degrees. We're going to cook it for about 3 or 4 hours. Then we're going to take it off and then we're going to throw this guy into a Dutch oven with all the other ingredients. We're actually going to use a mushroom soup mix. And we'll put the recipe down below so you can follow along and see what we're doing. Alright guys, our Traeger warmed up to temperature. It's 12 degrees outside, so you'll have to forgive me. I didn't set up the camera out here. It took a little while for this guy to get up to temp, so we're going to close it down. You'll notice I did use a cookie tray here, cookie cooling tray. Just makes it easier to get this guy in and out on a cold day. Alright guys, welcome back inside the kitchen. So our friend Chuck over here spent the last about 3 or 4 hours on the smoker at 180 degrees. After 2 hours, I did bump it up to 250 degrees. We got to an internal temperature of about 150. So I decided it was time to pull it off, stop the Texas part of our cook. Now we're going to switch over to the New England part of our cook. So what I did is I peeled some potatoes, chopped these guys up. I cut up some celery. Cut up some carrots. I add mushrooms. You don't have to. I like them, so I just add them to the mix. And then I did cut up some onion. We're just going to put some whole onion pieces in here. I don't go any smaller than that because I want to be able to pull the onion out at the end so that I don't eat it. Not a fan of the onion. Now we'll take Chuck, the star of the show. I'm going to put Chuck in our pot. We're going to take our friend Lipton Lipton mushroom soup. Some people use, well, actually probably everybody uses Lipton onion soup. Again, not a fan of the onion. I'd rather have the mushroom. So we're going to go that. We just pour this right over the top. And we take our water. And that's all she wrote. We'll put this guy on the... We could put it back out on the Traeger, but there's no real reason to because we're going to be covering it up. So we could put it back out on the Traeger, but we're just going to put it on the stove. And we're going to let this simmer for the next 3 or 4 hours. Alright guys, so our pot roast simmered for the last 3.5 hours. And it looks absolutely amazing. It is. This is a meal. That is for sure. Unbelievable. We're going to have to give this guy a taste. Let's see if this meat just pulls apart. Oh, it does. It just falls right apart. Unbelievable. That is simply delightful. Wow. Boy, is that good. Unbelievable. If you like what you see, guys, please click that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel. See what we're cooking next week. Wow. All right, guys, so our pot roast simmered for the last probably 3.5 hours. Yeah, it was, well, I don't know, blah, blah, blah.